Welcome back, Tri-Fi fans, to another episode of Classic Chevy Revival. I'm your host, Kevin, and today we're diving into the fascinating journey through the evolution of car radios, from humble beginnings to modern marvels. But before we hit the road of nostalgia, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on our automotive adventures. So now, let's buckle up and tune in to the rhythm of history. Whether it is going for a stroll on a random night or a spontaneous road trip with your best friends, music is always a necessity for any fun journey. Blaring music in your car can be therapeutic, create a forever lasting memory, or simply just make life that much more fun. It can be very difficult to ever imagine any sort of car trip without music, but believe it or not, the radio was not always equipped in automobiles. In fact, radios would be around for nearly 20 years before the process of integrating them into vehicles would begin. Over the next few years, the radio would begin to evolve, and innovators found themselves interested in trying to create a usable radio in a vehicle. In 1922, Chevrolet would release its car radio at a whopping price of $200. The radio would prove to have much more inconveniences than it did enjoyment for the customer. Different companies would adjust their radios based on the shortcomings of Chevrolet, and by 1930, Galvin Manufacturing would introduce the now well-known brand name Motorola, the first affordable commercially successful car radio. And the introduction of this technology to the public would provide a springboard for Motorola to grow into the huge company it is today. The original Wunderbar radio, which was introduced by General Motors in the late 1940s, was one of the first car radios that could automatically seek to the next strongest station. The auto-seek worked quite differently than modern radios do today, but the idea is basically the same. The radio would auto-seek to the next strong station, and the driver could adjust the desired fidelity setting for the auto-seek to a higher or lower strength signal by turning the sensitivity knob. And once the driver set the signal strength, the driver would simply press the Wunderbar, causing the radio to automatically tune up to the first station that came in clearly above the selected signal strength. Pressing the Wunderbar again would seek forward again to the next available station, and so on. And why is it called a Wunderbar? The title is a pun on Wunderbar, the German word for wonderful.
Wunderbar.
The Wunderbar is an early attempt at the station seek/scanning we are familiar with on current radios. You push the bar and it finds, or hopes to find, the next station. The big difference is that the Wunderbar radio station seek was motorized. The station indicator bar in the tuning window actually moved while seeking, kinda like you would see with a manually tuned radio, as opposed to today's digital electronic radios where the seeking is done electronically and with no moving parts. Introduced by Chevrolet, the Wunderbar radio was the first automatic station-seeking radio tuner of its kind, and drivers, like I said, simply set the minimum desired signal strength, and once you push the button, the device would scan through the spectrum of the AM or sometimes AM/FM radio frequencies until it found the first sufficiently strong station. While radio waves can travel hundreds of miles, the fidelity and strength of a radio signal decays as it gets further from its source. For a radio receiver and speakers, this decay is manifested as static noise. Because different drivers have different tolerances for static noise, the inventors of the Wunderbar radio designed it such that the driver could set the minimal signal strength for the automatic tuner by turning a knob. Thus, a driver who didn't mind some static, well, he could set the minimum lower than a driver who preferred only clear signals. The trade-off would be that the Wunderbar tuner would find a greater number of total stations for the more tolerant driver. Once the minimum signal strength is manually set, the driver pushes the Wunderbar button into the radio and releases it. The button is attached to a push-to-make switch that briefly completes an electrical circuit just long enough to trigger a separate scanner circuit. The scanner circuit consists of electrical motor, power source, amplifier, and a heterodyne, also known as a frequency mixer, tied into the antenna. The radios are simple on the electronic side, but a lot more complex on the mechanical side. They are fairly easy to troubleshoot and repair, but all the parts have to be just right for it to work properly. And from what I understand and been told, the big failure item on these sets is the solenoid coil, which winds the spring which traverses the auto-tuning mechanism. And if the signal-seeking circuit fails to see a station to stop at, the radio will just keep firing the solenoid time after time and will keep running the tuner across the dial endlessly. And this coil was not intended for this kind of duty cycle, from what I'm told, and it causes it to burn up. And the other problem is there's no source for these coils that I could find, so you are kind of out of luck unless you can cannibalize another set for the coil. Also, I learned in researching these radios, the Wunderbar problems include the capacitors, which go out of spec, and the carbon composition resistors fail from heat and time. Wunderbar radio tubes can be known to fail, and they are available on eBay, as I found a few sellers at the time of this video in mid-February of 2024. The Wunderbar radio was truly revolutionary in its design, and it easily helped pave the way for the highly convenient radio station seeking features most automobile and even standalone radios are equipped with today. While these radios are relatively scarce nowadays given technological advancements, their place in car history cannot be forgotten. Many drivers of Tri-5 Chevys opt to replace the vintage radios with, a more modern sound system, but there are those purists who still appreciate the Wunderbar given its crucial historical value and just plain coolness. The new Wunderbar radios are 100% exact replica and a replacement radio that comes with modern features. And these radios can come with chrome-plated die-cast nosepiece, working Wunderbar, and push buttons and knobs that look 100% original. The Wunderbar radio offers the best of both worlds, giving you an in-dash radio that looks just like the original while also producing better sound quality, a digital tuner, an auxiliary input, and preamp outputs. And there are many sources available for the new Wunderbar replica radios. And so that wraps up another episode of Classic Chevy Revival. And remember, whether you're cruising down memory lane or reviving the spirit of the open road, drive and revive with passion. Don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments below and share your own stories of your Tri-5 nostalgia. And please like and subscribe and check out our website, ClassicChevyRevival.com. And until next time, keep those engines roaring and those radios tuned to the sweet sound of the past. Drive and revive, everybody.